G'day everyone, we're Krista and Tony, a couple of Australians that have taken a year off to travel the world. Starting our travels in America, we've rented a van for 60 days as we head along the west coast up to Canada. In this episode, we check out some of the most incredible lakes in Banff National Park, Lake Moraine and Lake Louise, where we hike to some of the best lookouts, and I'll explain the geology behind why these lakes are so incredibly blue. Lake Louise and Moraine are around 40 miles from the town of Banff, which is about a 45-minute drive. These two lakes are pretty close to one another, with Lake Louise campgrounds being a great place to stay if you're planning on doing a couple of days. If you want to book in advance, go to the Canada Parks website, which is recommended during the summer months. We arrived at the campsite without a booking around 5 PM, and we were lucky enough to score a spot. As the sun was still up at about 7 PM, we thought we'd then go and check out Lake Moraine, as most visitors would have left by the late afternoon. Lake Moraine is one of the most iconic lakes in Canada, set within a natural amphitheatre called the 10 Peaks. Here's my resident lake expert. What would you rate this lake out of 10?
Right now, I'd give it a 7.5.
Ooh. How come not a 10?
Because the sun's not out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of yellow stuff over there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's -1.
Yeah.
And I'm cold. So, minus 1 point again.
So you have it, everyone. Lake Lorraine, 7.5, but that scoring
It's Moraine.
I thought it was Lorraine.
No, it's Moraine.
This lake has very limited parking, so you have to get here as early as 4, 5 AM or later in the evening like we did to score a park, or get the shuttle bus which leaves every 20 minutes. So we headed back to our campsite and set the alarm for 6 AM so we could then get a park at Lake Louise early the next day. If you get to the car park later than 7, 8 AM, you'll once again miss out on getting a park. Lake Louise is known for its stunning blue colour, which is caused by the reflection of light of finely ground rock particles that's suspended in the lake's water. This rock flower is created by glaciers that grind the surrounding mountains as they slide down the valley. The rock flower particles are so small that they're suspended in the water, and when sunlight hits the lake, it's reflected off the particles, giving the lake its distinctive blue colour. Sitting on Lake Louise is the Fairmont Chateau, which is a beautiful hotel that has a cost to match, between $400 to over 1,000 Canadian dollars a night depending on the season. They also rent out kayaks for an eye-watering $145 per hour, which is why this kayak clip is actually stock footage ripped off the internet, as there's no way we were spending that much money. But it does look pretty good. So Lake Louise has several amazing hikes, and a number of remote tea houses you can reach. One of the best hikes is known as the Beehive, where you can climb to the top of that thing. There's also the Lake Agnes tea house at its base. So we set out for Lake Agnes Tea House, stopping at Mirror Lake along the way. This beautiful small blue lake is well protected from the elements, resulting in a perfect reflection of the Beehive above. So we kept hiking up, seeing an increase in snow as we got closer to the tea house, where my fear of bears and snowballs continued to rise. Shortly after, we made it to the tea house, which was completely packed, so we checked out the lake instead. We tried to continue to the top of the Beehive, however due to all the snow the hike was a bit too tricky. So we continued along the base of the Beehive and tried to get a good view of Lake Louise from along the ridge. So after hiking about 15 minutes past the tea house, away from, I guess, yeah, it's been like 20 minutes extra. We finally got to this railing section, and this is where you get the good views. Whew. But it's worth it, the views are incredible. Have a look at this. Don't. Guys, stop it! So after taking in the view, we hiked back down and stayed at Lake Louise campground for one more night before heading off to Jasper the next day. Well, that's it for this episode. Make sure you join us in the next one where we drive along the most scenic road in Canada, Icefields Parkway, where we stop at even more blue glacial lakes and see some incredible canyons, waterfalls, and scenic views along the entire drive. Thanks for watching, everyone, and it really helps our channel if you subscribe and like. See you in the next one.
That's a good shot.